Hey friends, it's Lydia Nitya Griffith with Karma Chameleon. Here on this channel, we cover all things Feng Shui, Flying Stars Feng Shui, BaZi Chinese Astrology. And often I like to read the charts of famous people and celebrities to better understand our own charts and our own lives. Welcome. Today, I'm going to show you how the 5 elements relates to the direction that you face sitting at your desk, the direction your desk and office are sitting in, and your career element, and how all of these things can be working for you or against you. So if this is something that is of interest to you, please subscribe, like, follow, all those wonderful things so you don't miss a single video. Again, welcome. So I want to start first by looking at the 4 animals that we see in traditional Feng Shui, which is the practice of Feng Shui that I have prescribed to for the last 20 some years. So when we're looking at a house, we have the 4 animals that are part of the landscape outside your home. The same thing can be applied inside your office, which is very cool. This is how we can bring in the support that we need to ensure that ultimately your job is something that is expansive, that gives you potential for growth, wealth, satisfaction, all the good things. So let's start with the turtle. Now, in my office, you can see my turtle is both a bookcase and a chimney stack. So you want something that is a mountain, that is tall, that is solid, that is strong. In addition to that, you can use a tall filing cabinet, would be another option. And if none of those are possible, you can hang a picture of a mountain in a nice big frame behind you. And that can also suffice as being your mountain, okay? And then we want to make sure you're not facing a wall, which often can happen, especially if you're in a cubicle. So what I would suggest is give yourself a view. Even if you've got your desk and your laptop that you're looking at, put something on that wall that is expansive, that looks like a wide open field. So like for my desk, I am looking out to a wide open field. So what that offers is the phoenix is in the front, and the phoenix gives you that ability to move forward, to have space, to expand into your career and give you longevity. To the left is where I keep a brass dragon. This gives me longevity and power. Also success. A little tip that you might not know is when you go to a meeting or an interview, keep a brass dragon in your left pocket, preferably in a satchel, briefcase, or bag of some kind where it's up on the table to your left, giving you a little extra power, influence, success with your meeting. To your right is our feminine side. And on the right side, you can have an elephant lying down on its side, and that opens up communication. Another item that you can have on your left that's different from the brass dragon is a brass turtle, dragon-headed turtle. Both of those animals, you don't want the animals facing you, looking at you, but rather looking away from you and supporting what's coming in, okay? Like they're your guard, your protector. make sure that your filing cabinets, and it's really nice if you can have ones on the left, your filing cabinets on the left, things on the left higher than things on your right. Masculine, feminine, in the traditional sense. I know. And then we want to kind of bring it down. What's in that filing cabinet? Is it something that is stuffed with your entire history of everything you've ever done? If your files are so jammed you can't fit anything more in, why in the world would the universe give you more? It's like that old saying that a wise person seeking knowledge should not come to a master or a teacher with a cup that's already full. So humble yourself. You know, I think in our jobs and our careers, that's the one place where ego can really be on display. Humble yourself and take a look at what is it that's in the filing cabinet. Bring it down. You know, go through the filing cabinet with a shredder or recycling bin and clean it out. Anything that you really have to keep that's older than like 3 years, put in a box and label it. Keep things current and fresh and now, which means that the things in your office really should speak to what's going on in your career now, even if you're looking for work. So locate the north in your office and make sure that you have your diplomas there, your accreditations. Locate the south in your office and ensure that you have your awards, the things that show that you've been recognized in your industry. In the southeast corner, which is your money corner of your office, put a brass happy hoodie or a pile of coins with a beautiful lush plant, wide leaves, and no cactuses. Oh my gracious, no cactuses in the house, no cactuses on your property. Brings in prickly relationships. Oh, yes. You want to avoid the northeast. The northeast is considered kind of the place between. It's also called the ghost corner. It's for that reason that you don't want to ever put wind chimes in the northeast, because it brings in all the spirits and ghosts, and you never know if those beings are positive or negative influences. Let's see, what other good bits do we have? I think that pretty much sums up the 4 animals. So next, kind of look at what's in your office. Make sure that everything in there really is about your work. It's not like the place to display your collection of Star Wars figurines. It's not the place to have your collection of teacups. It's not your place for having your herbal supplements or whatever else that you've got piled up around you. And I've seen some offices. It's like that starts to become this cave that you spend 40 hours a week in, and it's got all your creature comforts. Keep it professional. Keep it focused on the task at hand without all those distractions. Even if you work in an office, nobody needs to be seeing all these things. You know, 1 or 2 family photos is nice, but even that can be distracting, right? Look at your desk and make sure that it is clean and tidy, that the things that are on your desk are current work that you are focused on. You can also have one of these tiered shelf things where you keep things that you refer to regularly. That's something that I do. I have folders of feng shui and charts and all those kinds of things that I refer to regularly, and I need those close at hand. Yeah. So, where is your office? Oh my gosh. I know that during the pandemic, the worst of it, that many people, if you're in an apartment, if you're in a house, many people just didn't have a home office arrangement. Every bedroom is occupied. You set up in the dining room, the kitchen, table. And those aren't really ideal places at all. You might even go to a coffee shop. So much distraction. Not an ideal place. Use things that are creative, like a curtain or a Chinese screen, to cordon off a part of a room so that your office space really is delineated and separate from everything else. Ensure that the people in your house aren't occupying critical areas of your bagua, like your kids being in the north where your career is, or an elder parent sitting in your career. All of these things we need to take into account. Now, when I come to a home, or I'm virtually with you going through your house, I am not the one that declutters, and I'm not the one that says, let's clean this place up. Let's get a garbage bag. Let's go. That's not my job. My job is to recognize what isn't working for you and then say, let's clean it up. I'm going to show you what to do. Because just like a lot of things in life, like losing weight, if you don't learn these skills on your own, you're never going to learn them. And some people really have a hard time with attachment. It's a trauma response. You can look all over the internet and find that out. I've seen some fascinating videos about the correlation between trauma and clutter and hoarding. The fear of letting go of something. You can't abandon that stuff. You've got to cling to it even though it no longer serves you. And in fact, clutter is your biggest obstacle and the number one way you sabotage your life. Oof. That's hard stuff. Yeah, sorry. So when you look at your office, there should be nothing on the floor. No trash, no papers to file, nothing. If you start something, finish it. Get your files up to date, clean off your desk, get everything out of that office that isn't about work. Get it focused. Now, I have moved rooms to avoid somebody from sabotaging a really critical part of their bagua. Move bedrooms, move your office. It's an inconvenience. For sure. Nobody likes to have their bedroom moved to another room. But maybe there's a positive to it. Maybe there's a silver lining for everyone involved. Maybe the person changing bedrooms gets a better view. More light. Closer to the bathroom. Who knows? Okay. Fun time for the fun stuff, right? All right, so before getting into all the fun stuff, which is the 5 elements, I did want to mention You know, a lot of times we're on Zoom calls, even now, working from home. Make sure that that office is ready for somebody's inspection. Imagine the Zoom camera on with no pretty screen behind you of some fabulous trip that either you dream of or went on. It is your office. Everybody's seeing it. What are they going to say? And I'm going to add to this, especially for my home workers. What are you wearing? If you want to be successful in life, dress like it. If you want to be successful in life, make your office the place of a top CEO, millionaire, billionaire, whatever you want to dream of for yourself. Make it happen. You're the only one that can do that. Take a day, take an afternoon, ask friends for help. Ask a really close friend to get in there and clean it up. And I promise you, something awesome is going to happen in relation to your career very quickly, because chi, energy, moves. And when it's stuck in old, outdated, inappropriate clutter, the chi gets stagnant. Nothing can thrive. Nothing can grow. All right. So now, I think that was it. Okay. So now let's go into the 5 elements. They occupy and encompass so much, you know. All right. Let's imagine we are going into an office, either a physical office building or a retail space with offices in the back, or your home office. These are the directions for your departments. Okay, so obviously you want to pay careful attention to the role you play in your job and whether or not you're a business owner or the person in charge, the CEO. So in the South is where we have planner, advertiser, and marketer. In the Southwest is good for the female boss, the secretary, the director, the administrator. The West is the accountant and female staff. The Northwest is good for the male boss, the director, manager. The North is receptionist, consultant, personnel. Northeast is accountant, administrator, realtor. The East is advertiser, male staff. Southeast is the salesperson, the director, and another option for boss. So what I would suggest is get the compass degree of your office space and find out what the room is that you're in, and then what degree you're facing, and then re-watch this and follow along and see if you can thread all this together. I'm happy to do office feng shui with you virtually. I also do home feng shui consulting. And we also can bring in your BaZi Chinese Astrology. The beautiful thing of a consultation is when you get a consultation, I automatically will do your BaZi Chinese Astrology chart. That's a complimentary as part of the package of the consultation. So consider that for yourself. It's a really fabulous investment in ensuring your optimum growth and your future self. Where are you? Where are you going? Right? All right, so we figured out your department, what you're in charge of. For instance, for myself, I am the female boss, which is the southwest, which is where I'm sitting, and I'm facing south. Advertising, marketing, planning. I do all of those things. I actually do a lot of things. But it's interesting because before September, I was facing west. And I kept having problems with the sunset. And like late afternoon, I was getting blasted by the sun. And so when September rolled around and I'm home now a whole lot more, I moved my desk to face south, and I'm really liking it a whole lot more. So be open to change. Be open to recognizing when your office situation isn't working and how to creatively change it. For instance, you don't want to be in a place where you can't see the door. You want to be able to see who's walking in your door. Always, always, always. And you, like I said before, you don't necessarily want to face into a wall. If you're able to, swing the desk around so it's facing into the room. Maybe have a couple chairs on either side with a small table, welcoming in people to your office space for consultations, for meetings. Yeah. So now the direction of placement. The south is the place of creativity and planning. The southwest is good for offices, general offices, kitchen and storage. The west is for sales, the cashier. So you might think of that if you have a retail space. And just so you know, I'm going to do a business feng shui pretty soon that talks about the best place the best flow for walking into a retail space, and how small businesses can thrive a whole lot better when they have the basics down of good feng shui. I mean, as simple as the front door. Get into that later. Let's continue. Northwest is decision-making, control, the boss. The north is employees. The northeast, storage or the kitchen. Again, remember the northeast is kind of that ghost gate area that we don't necessarily want to get into. The east, implementing, place for the boss of a new business and creativity, thinking that the southeast, it's new growth. It's young wood. So that whole area of the east and southeast is great for new business. Southeast, reputation, credibility, planning, and sales. So you can organize your whole office building according to feng shui. And in that, especially if you're the boss, you can ensure that you're not going to have mutiny because you've put your employees in the place of the boss. Just like you don't want to put your kid in the southwest or northeast part of your home because your kids are going to take over the role of the parents. Now, if you are an employee and you're trying to get up that ladder and gain more influence, you might be pretty tricky and say, ooh, I now know where to gain power. I'm just going to leave that for your own karma. I'm not getting involved in that, but all right. So now we look at what work do you do? Now, I was laughing when I learned this from Peter long time ago. I think I cover all 5 elements because I do so many things. All right, so first, wood, the 5 elements, and this is according to Peter Long. The 5 elements of your profession. Wood is everything having to do with writing, publishing, books, bookstores, paper, stationery, being a teacher, an educator, a florist, a grocer, making furniture, selling furniture, anything having to do with paper or wood products or the wood industry, including forestry, research, designer, planner, programmer, botanist, farmer, the drug industry, and the herbal remedies. Fire is all things, actors, singers, dancers, chefs, somebody that's motivational speaker, life coach, cosmetics, beauty products, oil, gas, fuel, electronics, fireworks, candles, incense, mirrors, beauty salons, hair salons, restaurants, decorators, lighting, factories, toys, social worker. Earth is potter, somebody that works with pottery, with crystals, a gemologist, land, a realtor, somebody working in construction, farming animals, somebody that works in mines, leather, hotel work, daycare provider or nurse, anyone in the healthcare industry like massage and yoga, butcher, leather worker, renovator. Metal is jewelry, hardware, banker, appraiser, accountant, anything having to do with finances, law, martial arts, mechanic, machinery, anything having to do with transportation, not the action, but the item, motorcycles, airplanes, helicopters, everything having to do with the government. Water is sales, information, fish, aquariums, seafood, shipping, ski resort, marina, moving, beverages, bars, trading, metaphysics, travel, tour guide, insurance, reporter. Wow. So the interesting thing, if you know your BaZi astrology, you know the balance or imbalance of your 5 elements. So for my chart, being weak in water, which is my day element, I need metal. So one of the things that metal I can gain from that is when I used to do chanting and play my drum. And chanting, the repetition of song is a metal element, directly nourishes me. Talking and sales directly nourishes my watery self. I'm motivated and creative with my writing. And I have my blog on Karma Chameleon. I have a blog on Nitya Living. I've published 4 books that are available on Amazon, including a really fabulous vegetarian cookbook. All these things. So you can start to see how your industry is either supporting you, motivating you, a direct source for revenue and money, or is landing in the place of controlling you, which is your traditional placement of career. And one of the things that's interesting is if you're in a place of changing jobs or changing career, and you're thinking, I want something that doesn't exhaust me. I felt so drained when I was we can look at your BaZi astrology and say, wow, what you really need is this element. Do any of these professions interest you? It's a cool thing to do, All right, so I think that is it for today. We covered a lot, and this should set you up for success in your office. Again, questions, and response to this are always welcome. I'd love to offer you a consultation. And with that, again, you get your BaZi Astrology as a complimentary thing. And I would enjoy working with you. So until next time, be well.